It all started on what should have been a peaceful Saturday morning, the kind of day when the sun filters gently through the blinds, when you can actually breathe in the crispness of the air without feeling like life is rushing past you. For once, I wanted calm. My son was in the backyard, clutching a small bottle of bubbles like it was the most magical thing in the world. He's autistic, and bubbles are his happy place. The way they shimmer in the sunlight, the way they float unpredictably, the way they catch the air, it brings him joy that words can't describe. And, as his mother, seeing him laugh and clap his hands in delight, even for just a few minutes, feels like a gift. But peace never lasts long when you have neighbors like ours. We live in one of those neighborhoods with a homeowners association, the dreaded HOA. On paper, HOAs are supposed to keep everything neat, organized, and safe. In reality, at least in my neighborhood, it was an excuse for a few self-important people to push everyone else around. And at the top of that pyramid sat one person, Karen. Not just any Karen, but the president of our HOA. You know the type. Short blonde bob, sunglasses too big for her face, always strutting around with a clipboard and a fake smile that could melt into a sneer at any moment. Karen lived for control. She lived for complaints. She lived for the feeling of authority that the title HOA President gave her. And, unfortunately, she lived directly across from me. I had learned to avoid her when possible. I'd nod politely, keep my head down, pay my dues on time, and hope she would leave me alone. But bullies always find a target, and it wasn't long before she zeroed in on my family. Specifically, my son. He was 7 at the time, bright-eyed, curious, and sweet to the core. But because he processed the world differently, his joy sometimes came out as squeals, laughter that was too loud, or clapping that seemed out of place. To me, it was the sound of his happiness. To Karen, it was an excuse. That Saturday, the peace shattered with the slam of a car door. I didn't even need to look to know who it was. Her footsteps clomped against the pavement like a warning bell. My heart sank, because I knew. I knew she was about to make a scene. Sure enough, her voice cut through the air like a knife. "Control your kid," she snapped. I turned, and there she was, storming across the lawn like a soldier marching into battle. My son froze mid-laugh, the bubble wand slipping slightly from his hand. He looked up at her, confused, his little face caught between joy and fear. I raised my hands defensively, my voice soft but firm. "He's just playing. He's autistic. The bubbles calm him." But Karen wasn't listening. She never listened. She leaned closer, her face twisted with disgust, and practically spat the words. "I don't care what he is. He's loud. He's a disturbance. This is a community, not a daycare." My chest tightened. I could feel my pulse hammering in my ears. Anger boiled inside me, but I swallowed it because my son was watching. He didn't understand why someone was yelling at him for laughing. He just knew the sound of rage, and it scared him. He shrank back, clutching the bubble wand to his chest, eyes wide. That image, my boy retreating from joy into fear because of her cruelty, seared itself into my heart. I wanted to scream at her. I wanted to tell her exactly what kind of heartless monster she was. But before I could gather myself, another voice cut through the tension. A calm, deep, steady voice. "Is there a problem here?" I turned and saw him. My brother. He had just come home from deployment. A Marine. He stood tall in his full-dress uniform, medals gleaming against the dark fabric, posture perfect, presence commanding. I hadn't even realized he'd arrived until that moment. And suddenly, I felt the air shift. Karen faltered. Her words caught in her throat. She looked at him, then back at me, then at my son. My brother walked forward with measured steps, each one deliberate, radiating authority. He didn't need to raise his voice. He didn't need to puff his chest. His very presence demanded respect. He stopped just a few feet from her, his gaze steady but not aggressive. "Is there a problem with my nephew enjoying his backyard?" he asked. Karen stammered, the confidence draining from her face. No, I was just Just trying to explain the noise." "The noise," my brother repeated, his tone razor-sharp. "That's the sound of a child playing. That's the sound of joy. And if you think that's a problem, then maybe you're the problem." She blinked rapidly, her hands twitching nervously. For the first time, she looked small. "You will not," my brother continued, his voice even but unyielding, "harass my family again. You will not scream in my nephew's face. And if I hear you so much as raise your voice at them again, I'll make sure the proper authorities know exactly what kind of harassment you're committing." Karen opened her mouth to argue, but no sound came out. She looked at him, at his uniform, at the sheer wall of discipline and authority he represented, and she crumbled. Without another word, she turned on her heel and stormed back across the lawn, her power draining away with each step. The silence that followed was almost surreal. My son looked up at my brother, his face breaking into a smile again. He clapped his hands, bubbles floating back into the air as if nothing had happened. My brother bent down, ruffled his hair gently, and whispered, "Don't ever let anyone take away your fun, buddy." I felt tears sting my eyes. Relief, gratitude, pride, it all washed over me. For once, justice had been served not with shouting, not with anger, but with quiet, undeniable strength. And Karen. She never spoke to us again. She avoided our house, avoided our yard, avoided looking me in the eye. The queen of the HOA had been dethroned by something she couldn't fight, real authority. And to this day, when I think about that moment, I remember the way my son's smile returned. That was the sweetest revenge of all.